begin by welcoming everyone to today's presentation. Who am I? My name is Rick Anderson. I'm the founder and CEO of We Envision IT. What makes me an expert? I have been in the computer business for over 25 years. Today we will take a look at how to speed up a Mac. There is 4 great ways of speeding up a Mac, especially if it's an older version. And we all know that when it comes to our computers, sometimes we wish they could run faster. I remember it as it was yesterday when I went out and picked myself up a new Mac. I remember the feeling I had when I came home, unpacked it, put it on the table, and the thought I had was that, okay, this time I'll keep it clean. I won't download anything that will slow it down. I will be much more disciplined where I put my files, how much I put in there. I will be more vigilant in regards to what kind of programs I install. And it's so funny to think about that a lot of people have that thought when they go out and buy something new, that they want to make sure that this time when they go out and buy a new computer is that they will do it different. And you can, because the way you keep an older computer fast is to keep it clean. And I am following my own prescription in regards to I have 4 ways of doing it. The first one is to manage your startup items. And that is so important because over time you've installed a lot of programs, and these programs many times have set themselves up to start certain things up when you start the computer. And you feel like over time that the computer gets slower, but what's really going on is that there's more and more things that the computer have to start up when you start up the computer for the first time or you reboot. So that's so important, and I'll go through to a video showing you where you do that and what you have to be aware of. Then the second thing is that update your OS if you can. Like this computer here is 7 years old, and I can't update to the latest version of the Mac OS because right now we are on Maverick. My latest version that I can update on this computer is Lion, but I keep it updated. I keep all my apps updated so that I have the latest version I can install on the hardware I have. Because remember, the hardware have some limitation because it's an older one. But if you do that and you keep it clean, you can keep a computer for much longer. And this is 7 years. Can you imagine? I believe I can keep it for 3 years more. That's 10 years on a Mac computer. I remember when I had Windows notebooks and I replaced them every 3 years. It was just waste, really. Then a third thing you can do is to upgrade your hardware, and my computer could do that. And I have 2 great ways of making your MacBook or your computer faster, and I will go through that by showing you on a video what I did to make mine faster, as fast as I could get it. Then number 4 was clean up your hard drive, and there I found a great program, a program that I found out later that I can use also on my Windows machines. They have a version for the Mac and they have a version for the Windows machines, and I can't wait to show you what that program can do. I use it every week, and since I started using it, I don't need so much effort to keep it clean and keep it fast. And I will go through a video where I just introduced that program. And it has to be said, I have no association with that software company. I have no shares. I'm not affiliated. I don't work for them. I just find it's a great software, and we'll go through that. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 1, manage your startup items. Okay, so let's go in and take a look at point number 1, and that is manage your startup items. And it's very important that we go in per user. If there is more users on your computer, that we clean up for each user. I know out of my experience that Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and so on is loading a lot of things when you start up your computer. And some of these programs are not necessary to start up. It makes the computer slower. So it's time for us to go in and take control, go in per user, go in and find out which program we don't need to start up, and go in and uncheck them, because that will make the computer much faster. So let's go in and take a look at a movie I have created so that you get a feeling where you do it. So take a look. Okay, let's go in and take a look at how we manage our startup items or login items. And the way we do that is that we go down to our docking and we find the icon where there is some gears. And you can see here, there is a gear here, or 3 gears, and that is called a system preference. I can click here and it starts up. Or I could have gone up here in the left corner, up by the apple, click here, and then I can find the one called System Preference, and that will bring me to the same place. When I come into the System Preference, here's the whole setup of your computer. And if you have worked with Windows, that is really called the control panel. Here we call it the System Preferences. And here we can set a lot of stuff up, and as you can see here, it has been grouped in personal, hardware, internet and wireless, system, and others. And the one we have to find is the one called users and groups. So we click on that. In here we can see the users who have access to this computer. In this case here it's myself, the doc said, and then it is a guest user. And when we look here, you can see here's the list of users, and over here there is the details. And if it stands on me, you can see here the first thing here is password. That is the detail in regards to password. And the second item over here that you can look up is the one called login items. And that's the one we have to take a look at. What is important here is that when we install programs and we start running programs, sometimes we get asked if we want these programs to start up when we start up the computer. So here we go in and we find out what we don't need and what we need. And in this case here, you can see here Fund Explorer. Yeah, I could have that starting up. Magic menus, ITV help and all that. And some of this stuff I don't need. And that is something that you have to decide. What don't I need? And then make sure that it doesn't start up. Because you less you start up, you quicker the computer is. You more you have to start up, you slower it is. And that's the same you have if you ever worked on a Windows machine, is that sometimes it can take ages to start up a Windows machine. There in the Windows environment, you have to do the same. So in here you decide which one you want to start up. So just run over it again very quickly. We have to get into the system preference. We can either find it on here on the docking station, where we find the one with the gears, we call system preference, or we could go up in the left corner up here and say system preference. And when we get in here, we go down to the one called system and users and groups. We start that up, and then we find the user in question. If there is multiple family members or users, then make sure that all of them has been checked here. In this regard, here is only me, so I check myself, go into login items, and then I make sure that what it gets started up is only the necessary things that I really need. And then you just press show all, and then you just close the window, and that's it. Okay, let's go in and take a look at number 2, update your OS. And as I said before, you should update your operation system as often as you can, because it is essential that you're on the latest version that your hardware can run on. And the way you do it is that you log in to the Mac website, you look at your hardware specification, and in there they will tell you if it's compatible with the latest version of their operation system. In my case, mine is 7 years old, and I was told that Lion was the last one I could run on, but there is still updates made available for Lion, so I keep it updated because it speeds up your Mac simply. And when you update your operation system, it also benefits the apps that you're running, because then you can update these apps because they will take advantage of the new operation system too, and it helps to speed up the Mac, I promise you. So let's go in and take a look at a video that shows us how we are doing it, so that you can get a feel of how do I update my operation system. But I have a feeling many of you already know that, but updating an OS is always a good thing. So let's take a look. Okay, let's go in and take a look at how you upgrade your computer. The first thing we have to do is to check to see if the computer have been set up to going in automatically to look for updates. And what we do is we go down again here to the docking and find again the system preference. That's the one here with the gears. Or we could go up here in the top by the Apple up here, and we can just go in and say system preference, and I'll go this way here. When we have got the system preference up running here, as I have mentioned before, it has been divided up in groups here in regards to personal, hardware, internet, wireless, system, and others. And the one we have to take a look at is the one called software update. You find it under system. So here we click software update. In here we can see that there is 2, as we call them, tabs or pages, where we can see the first one, it's schedule checked, and here it's been set to that check for updates weekly. We could have gone in and say monthly or daily. I think weekly is fine. And then download the updates automatically if there is any. And then we can see here that the last check software update ran successfully was Tuesday, December 10th this year. Also, what we can do in here, we can go in and look at the installed software. In here we can go in and look at what has been updated and installed throughout times. So we can go in and look at and see here when we have downloaded and installed updates to our programs in here. We can see here that down here September 19th we had an update to iPhoto, and here September the 26th we had one more. We could go in here and see which updates we have downloaded and which program has been updated throughout time. But again, here schedule check, like I said, go in and set it up so that at least it goes in weekly and that it start downloading automatically. That's the first thing we do. the next thing is that we can either here check now, and when we check now, what it will do is it will go in and look at updates for the operation system or for all apps that comes with the operation system. Not all your apps, but the apps who came with the operation system and the operation system. We can either click here on check now, or we can close this window and go up here by the Apple, and up here we can see there is one software update up here, and we could have clicked that. So let me click that, and it checks for new updates. We will let it run and see, and it can take a while, so be patient. Okay. So when we have reached the end of this check here, it comes here and says software updates are available for your computer. Do you want to install them? And of course, that's the reason why we're running it. So we'll go in here and click install. And we are waiting for the update to happen, but you can go down here at the docking, and down here at the docking we can still see that here the software update is still running. And as so many operation system, what it does is that it updates in the background so that you could literally go ahead and still work on your computer, and then you will be informed when the software updates to your operation system has been downloaded. And remember, like I said, is that you're downloading and updating software that came with your operation system. In this case here, it's Lion. So it's updating the Lion operation system and some of the apps that came with them. In regards to the other apps that you have downloaded throughout the time, and the ones I'm talking about here is that if you go down here again to the docking, and we go down and find the rocket down here where we can see the launch pad, then when we click on that, we can see the programs that is on this computer here. These are apps. Some of them came with operation system, and others I have downloaded throughout the time. And as we can see down here by the dots here, there is multiple pages. So there's a lot of apps that perhaps has to be updated. But here we can go in and look at the apps here. And that brings me to the next thing, is that now we're waiting for the operation system to be updated. But let's go in and look at the next one, and that is the apps. All the apps that didn't come with the operation system. And there, when we went into Launchpad, we can see there is a program called App Store. Or you could have, like here, going down to my docking here, and down here at my docking I have the App Store here on my docking, and if I press that, I'm starting the App Store. I'm going into Apple's App Store, and when the program comes up, we can see up here there is different pages, and the one we are interested in is not going in and look at new apps. We want to go in and see if there's updates to the apps we already have installed on the computer. And when you go up here where it says updates and click on that, we can see which apps here where updates are available. There are 6 updates available for this computer. You can go in and update either all of them in one hook, or you can go in and update them one by one, so that when you update your computer, you don't just update the operation system and the programs that comes with the operation system, but you also go in and update your apps so that the apps are taking advantage of the new updates. And that's a way of making your computer faster. So here we could just press update all. What will happen is that it will go in and look at your ID here, Apple ID, and then of course you have to put in your password. And when you have put that in and you sign in, then as you can see here, it goes in and update the apps that is on your system, and then it goes through them one by one, and when it's finished, it will make you aware that it has updated all of them. So here we can also just minimize them, because that can run in the background. Remember, the computers today are multitasking systems, so you can do that. And here, like I said, now we have 2 things running in here. We have the software update running, and then we also have, if we go down here, updates to your apps. So you can have that running, and as soon as they have been updated, they will come out where it says it has been installed. If there is a program that there is some issues with, that can be that the program no longer are available in there. It's a program that you have to log in and purchase a new version of the app, so that you can run into also. But if I minimize this, go back again to check down here and software update, and that is still running, and that will be running until a message comes up where it says that it has updated so and so many of your apps. And also it has to be said that when we're waiting here right now is that the software updates to get ready to be installed on your computer. And when I said software updates, I mean the ones that is coming with your operation system, not the apps. Keep that apart. They update the apps. That means that you have the operation system, you have the programs that come with the operation system, and then you have apps that you purchase in the App Store. And these are 2 different parts. in your update. But that's what you have to do when you update your computer. I'm waiting for the computer, and it can take a while, so be patient about it so that we can go ahead and see how it looks like when the operation system is finished. Okay, and if I go down here to the docking and I launch here again, we can see now that there is only one program that was not updated. We had 6 before, now there is only 1 left, and I'm sure it has something to do with perhaps that the program has been changed, that it is perhaps the paid version. Now at least you have all the apps updated. We're still waiting for, let me close this, we are still waiting for the operation system to finish up here. We're still waiting that something happens here. We just have to be a little bit patient. So in the meantime that we are waiting, we can see here a small movie clip that I have taken when it was updated, and you can see here what stages it goes through. But the update will always end up with the screen that we see here says that the computer was updated successfully. So when the warning screen or the message screen disappeared, then that means it's over, but we can go in and check what happens, and we can go up here to the Apple and go up to the system preference. You can also go down to the docking and find it down there. And what we do is we go down here on the system and under software updates. And remember, there is 2 pages, and if we go into the one called installed software, in here we can see that the last thing that installed was this, the remote desktop admin update that came in here. So that was the last update that was on the date we just did this. So that's how you can check it. That's it. Let's just close everything down. Okay, let's go in and take a look at number 3, upgrade your hardware. And let me say already now, I did it to my machine. Even that it was that old, there was something I could do in regards to the hardware. I know that there's limitation. It depends on how old your computer is. But if you use the internet and you go in and look, there will be people that have posted on the internet what they have done to make their computer faster. And in there you can get an idea if you can do it. Else you go to the website of Mac. In there you can see what kind of computer you have. And then you can look up, what can I do with it? How much is the max? How much memory can I install? What kind of hard disk can I use? And so on. And in my case, the first thing I went in and looked at was that, can I do anything about my memory? And I looked at it, and in this case here now it says 4 gigabyte. I went in and looked at it, it said no, you have 2 gigabyte, and when I looked up you can make it to 4. So I went out and purchased 2 gigabyte more, and that helps in regards to the speed of your PC or your computer. So I upgraded my RAM. The second thing is that right now we are all talking about SSD drives, and they have become much cheaper. So what I did was that I went out and said, okay, can I replace my hard drive with an SSD RAM? And I could literally with a converter upgrade it, so I did that. So go in on the internet, figure out what you can do with your computer, because sometimes you can keep these computers alive for a long time. And like I have said before, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, my computer is 7 years old now, and I have a feeling I could keep it for 3 years more, and then I've had it for 10 years for a laptop. That's unheard about. So try to see what you can do. I'll run a small video here how you can do it with a laptop, how you can upgrade the computer from a hard drive to an SSD drive, and then also put some more memory in. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's go in and update our hardware. Before you do that, you can see here's a list of 8 points that you have to do. Here's all the headlines. There's really 9 because the first point is really checking everything that you buy, but the rest here just describes in headlines what has to happen in what sequence. But what is important is that before you do anything, make sure that your computer can be upgraded. Make sure that if you go out and buy something that it is compatible with your computer. I have met many people that have tried to upgrade their computer, come back and say it doesn't work, until we found out that the hardware they went out and purchased was not compatible with their computer. So do your homework. Then before we can get started is we back up our computer. And we are so lucky that with the Mac system there comes Time Machine. Time Machine needs an external hard drive to be backed up on, because we can't back a hard drive up to itself, so we have to back it up on an external hard drive. And you can go out there and buy a hard drive in the store for about $79 for a 1 terabyte, and that should be enough. So I'll not say it's not expensive, but $79 is not too expensive. Then what you have to do is that when you have backed it up with the Time Machine, you have to decide, do I want to start up on the DVD that came with my computer when I bought it? In my case, it came with Tiger. Some will be leopard or snow leopard, some with lion or snow lion, and some with maverick. But you can start up on that, or you can create yourself what we call a USB upstart drive. And that you have to create then before you take the computer apart. It's so important that you do certain things before you start, because when you first have taken the computer apart, then it is too late. But I many times create an upstart USB drive with the operation system that I'm running on, because it is faster, it's quicker to set up when it comes to it. You don't have to. You can find a DVD or a video on YouTube that describes how you do that, or you can just use the DVD that came with your computer. When you have done that, that means that when you are sure that the hardware you have and you have everything, you have the tools that is needed to take your hardware apart, and that you have taken a backup of your computer, a total backup with Time Machine, and that you have a DVD to start up on or a USB drive that you have created, then you can take it apart. What is important is that when you take your computer apart, be disciplined about it. What I do is I empty the whole table so it's totally without any clutter. Then I put the laptop down, in this case here, and then when I start taking it apart, I put the screws in a strategic way so that they're not far from where they have to go back in again. I don't move the computer after I take it apart, because the only thing you have to do is to take the bottom plate off. So just take the screws out, place them in a strategic way, and you take the back plate off, then you're ready. Here I have tried, after I take the back plate off, to describe what the things are when you open and take the back plate off. But some of these things can be placed different places. Older Macs, it was more things that had to be taken off before I could get to everything, but it looks like approximately like that. What you do first is, let's go in and upgrade the memory, because that's the easiest way, because it is set in place with what we call a snap lock, and you can just open them with your fingers. You don't need special tools or screwdriver. You just open them, release them, and then you put the new memory in. Make sure you put it in place and you secure it, because I've met people who said, oh, I put new memory in and now it's 2 weeks after and now the computer doesn't work. Yeah, they transferred the computer either in the house or to work or to school. Through the vibrations, the memory fall out of the snap locks. The memory, when that falls out, the computer stops working. So make sure that the memory is placed correctly, that they are secure in the snap locks, so that you know that the memory is there and it doesn't move. Let's go and replace the hard drive with an SSD drive, with a solid state drive. A solid state drive is really just memory. There is no moving part in an SSD drive, and it's much, much faster than a normal hard drive. So before you do that, make sure that you take pictures of everything so that you know where things are, so you can put it back again in the right places. Old times I always made a schematic, I draw it, but it took a long time. But I did it just because sometimes you forget, what was it there, by the way? How was it turned? Where was it glued? And so on. Make sure that you know exactly how it looked like when it started. And then when I go through it, every time I remove something, I make sure that I understand it, or I take a picture so I can go back and see how it was, so that you can put it back again in the right order and in the right way, so you don't get finished and then you have parts that you don't know where to put because they're spare parts. You can't find a place for them. So make sure that you make sure that everything is in the right place when you finish. And so when you put the back plate back again, then make sure that the screws are in the right places, because they're so that some of the screws are shorter than others. And if you really mix it up, then you have a problem. And make sure that the screws is in the right places, that they're secure. Use the right tools. Don't take too big a screwdriver and then ruin the screws. Be very disciplined when you're doing it, because you want to be sure that you can take it apart again later if needed to. When both are replaced, the memory and the hard drive now, with an SSD drive, then you can boot up either on a DVD drive if you have decided that, or the USB upstart drive if you have decided that. Then you start the computer up, and the first thing that has to happen is that you have to partition the new drive. If it's an SSD drive, then it has to be partitions before you install the operation system. And then when the operation system has been installed, then you can go in and restore everything else that you have backed up of your computer. So make sure you have done that. So you either boot on the USB drive or you boot on the DVD drive. When you are able to boot, when you have installed the operation system, and it takes a while, sometimes it can take up to 20 minutes depending on how old the computer is and how quick it is. When everything has been installed, or the operation system has been installed, then you go in and use the Time Machine again to restore everything from prior, so that you get everything put in place, so that you really, it looks like you haven't done anything. Now you just have more memory, and now you have a quicker hard drive. And then here I took a test from a computer. I took a test of the computer when there was a normal hard drive, and then I took a test after when I had put in the new SSD drive. And I can tell you, you can put life in an old computer again. It really helps. And as you can see here, just by upgrading the hard drive and the memory, you make it twice as fast. With this upgrade, I can keep my Mac for at least 2 years more. Okay, let's go in and look at number 4. Clean up your hard drive. And I'm sure everyone will say, yeah, that's a good thing. And yes, it is. It is a great thing to do. Especially like me, I had my computer for 7 years. If I don't clean up once in a while, then it becomes a mess. And what I have found out is that if you clean the PC, like going in and get rid of all the caches, logs, some apps have temporary files, widgets, language packets, plugins, hidden trashes, large files, and so on. Get rid of it. Make sure that your hard drive is optimized as much as you can. So that will make the biggest increase in speed when you clean that hard drive up. What I did was that I went in and looked at products out there, and I found this great product called CleanMyMac. And I tell you, it is great. It doesn't just clean up the Mac, but there is a lot of features in there, and I can't wait to show you these features. And as I have told you before, you can get a version of this program for Windows. There is nothing better than if you have a product that works on both platforms. Because if you first learn it for one platform, like here to the Mac, you can bring that to the Windows platform. Then you can do both platforms. It has nearly the same features, and you get familiar with it. And you will then utilize the features that these programs or apps have to the maximum. And that's what it's all about. So I can't wait to go in and look at this one with you and tell you why I like it so much. So let's go in and take a look at the little video I've created in regards to that product. So clean up your hard drive because it will help the speed. Okay, so let's go in and take a look at this product that I want to recommend you and that will keep our hard disk clean. And it is called CleanMyMac, or if you have a Windows machine, it's called CleanMyPC. But let's go into their official website. So I have already logged in, and their official website is called macpaw.com. macpaw.com. That's their official website. Let me say up front, and that's the disclaimer, I am not paid by the company. I am not working for the company. I don't have any shares in the company. I'm not affiliated in any way with the company other than that I'm using their products. And the reason that I do this is that I don't do it often, but I like to share my experience in regards to product that brings me a lot of joy and benefits in regards to, like here, to clean up my Mac, really, or clean up my PC. I think it's a great tool, and what I like most about it is that it works on two platforms. It works on the Mac platform and on the PC platform. And what attracts me when apps works on different platforms is that when you can utilize it on one platform, it doesn't take much effort to utilize it on another platform, because some of the intuitive navigations and the features that they're providing you is the same on both platforms, so it's easy to use and you utilize all the features that they're providing to you. So let's come back to the Mac platform here. It is a combination between CleanMyMac 2 and CleanMyDrive. It has to be said that CleanMyMac 2 you have to pay for. You can download a free version. The free version has certain limitation. It's the time you can use it in and also the features that it's providing you. But if you like it, you can purchase it. In regards to the CleanMyDrive, that is for free for now. I'm sure later on they'll perhaps put a price on it, but right now you can use it for free. These two products here, CleanMyMac 2 and CleanMyDrive, plus the disk utility that comes with the operation system. These three will keep your Mac clean, it will keep your drives optimized, and it will keep it fast. And that's what it's all about. But before we get started, I want to show you their official video that they're using to promote their product, because it is a very short movie and it tells in a very quick way how and what the product is all about. So let's take a look.
Have you noticed that your Mac became slower? Does your iPhoto library use too much space? Or maybe you were running out of precious disk space on your SSD drive. Your Mac becoming cluttered and cluttered and cluttered. We got a solution for you. CleanMyMac 2, the ultimate way to clean your Mac, get extra space, and keep it organized. CleanMyMac will ensure your Mac's top performance by optimizing your system and cleaning it up from all the junk that slows it down. CleanMyMac will also help you get extra gigabytes of space by finding big files you probably won't use again, and slim up your iPhoto library without reducing quality or quantity of photos. To get things really smooth, CleanMyMac will assist you with resetting or uninstalling any apps. With Extensions Manager, you can revise all installed plugins and remove some to free up precious resources and finally get a faster Mac. Get these and much more with one beautiful, safe, and efficient app. Download CleanMyMac now.
Okay, so here you saw the movie and you saw what the program is all about. And just to sum it up here, it is extremely easy to use. It removes data safely. It finds more junk on your Mac than other Mac cleaners out there. You can schedule regular cleanups, and that's what I'm always emphasizing. Do it at least once a week. And then also it helps you to uninstall apps and plugins. Okay, so now you have an idea what the product is all about. So let's go in and download the CleanMyMac, and we just stay here as download now. We click on that, and you will see in the lower left down here in the browser, and I'm using the Chrome, you can see here how it's going with the download. And remember, this one is limited in regards to the time you can use it and the features you have. So when you're finished installing it, you are all ready to go. Also, we want to download the CleanMyDrive. So if we click on this, you can see here that you have to go to the Mac App Store to get that. So we click here, and now we'll be transferred to the Mac App Store. And in here, we will get the option to download the CleanMyDrive. You can see here it says installed. The reason is that I have already downloaded, I have already installed it, but that's the way you get these two products. So we just downloaded, you can see here down in the left corner, we have downloaded the CleanMyMac. It's here. And then here, by clicking on the CleanMyDrive download, we get into the Mac App Store or the Apple App Store. And in here, we can then download it. And many times what it really does is that it installs it right away. So you get it, it installs it, and that's it. Okay, so now we have been in looking at what the features are. We saw that little video, the introduction to the product. Hopefully we have downloaded the product, we have installed it. I don't want to go through the installing process on a Mac. I assume you know that. For me is that now it's down here on my docking down here where I have my CleanMyMac 2 and my CleanMyDrive. Or you could go underneath where you go under the Launchpad, and there you can find these apps too. Let me go in and start up the CleanMyMac. When you go into CleanMyMac, you have a menu over here where you can do with it. You can either run what we call an automatic cleanup. That's the major full scan cleanup. It takes, of course, longer time. You can run that, and it runs through the system cleanup, the large older files, aisle photo cleanup, trash cleanup, and so on. That it does. Not the three last ones here, the uninstall, the extension manager, and erase. They are totally different. That's something that will be run by themselves. But when you run the automatic cleanup, it runs all this underneath here, and under the system cleanup there's more points, and I'll go through what these points are. But I also want to go in and look at the uninstaller. If you ever worked on the Windows platform, when you installed a product on a Windows machine, it always took a long time, but when you wanted to get rid of the program again, it took nearly even as longer to get rid of it, and many times it left debris. And what happened was that over time, when you have installed program and uninstalled program, then you start getting error messages when the machine started up. But in this case here, when you ever work with Macs, over time you will see that first of all, you don't install the programs, even it says here. What really happens is that when you install a program on a Mac, the files are copied into the Mac. When you start up the product, then the setup is happening, not when you install it. And then when you want to get rid of it, then what it means here is that it goes in and delete the folders that the product was in, the app folders, and then it goes in and look and see if there's anything that was set up specific for that product, and then it removes that. As you can see here, there are three options here. You can go in and remove the application that you want to remove. Then you can go in and remove the leftovers. If you ever uninstalled or removed an app but you didn't clean totally up, then you can still go back and do that. And then there's the unsupported apps, and that means that if you have updated from one operation version to another one and you have some apps, they worked on the first operation system but doesn't work with the new operation system, you still want to be able to go in and remove these applications so they don't interfere with your setup, and you can do that in here. Then with the extension manager, that is a feature where you go in and remove all the plugins and that come comes with a different, like here, contact. There is some plugins. You can go in and remove them or enable them or disable them. And then you go in on the Find, also have plugins, or you can go down in regards to the Safari extensions. In here, you manage the plugins. Then we have Erase. Erase is where if you have files that you really want to make sure that they are deleted once for all, then you go in here, start the CleanMyMac up, you start up Erase, and then you go in and select the files you want to be deleting and make sure that they don't turn up again, that you can't recover it again. Then you do it through here. It has to be set. If you use this tool, you can't recover it after you have used that tool. It's nearly impossible. So then in regards to the system cleanup, there are more points that this thing does, and the way we can look at that is that we go up to CleanMyMac 2, we go underneath where it says Preference, and under Preference we can set up the products here, and you can see in here we can choose what language we want to run, if we want to make the application allow to clean up code, signs, applications, and so on, play sounds when we run it. But the one I want us to go in and look at is the one called Scanning, where we can go in and say, but when I run the system cleanup, what should it do? It should go in and you look at the user cache files, the system cache files, the user log files, the system log files, and you can see there is a whole bunch of things that didn't turn up over here, but it is under the system cleanup. This is everything it does in there. If you feel that it takes too long time when you run the system cleanup, you can check some of these off and it will not look at them again. Then in here also the scheduling in regards to make sure that it does it frequently. Some does it every week, some every 2 weeks, but at least every month you have to run it. I run it every 2 weeks. I run a cleanup of my hard drive. There's other setups that you can do in here, but I don't want to go through that. So this is one of them. Then you have the other one. That's the one called Clean My Drive. It's running in the background. It does all automatically, so you don't have to think about it. Only thing you have to think about is that you want to have it to start up when you start up the system. Right now I just installed it, so I haven't set it up yet, but I would set it up. You say yes, but this one really can go in and help you cleaning up your hard drives. So what you also have the possibilities to is that when you go up here, you can go down and start up, run the disk utilities, because remember what I said in the beginning, you have 3 tools that you want to use to clean up your hard drive. Is that you're running the CleanMyMac 2, you let this one run in the background in regards to Clean My Drive, and then you use the other one that comes with an operating system called Disk Utilities. I can run it from here, or I can go down and run it from when I go into the Launchpad. I go into Utilities, and under Utilities in here I have the one called Disk Utilities, and in here I have the product where I run once in a while. I run the Disk Aid program in here, so I will choose the hard drive, and in here is called the First Aid, where I run what I call verified disk permission. That you should do once in a while because there's many errors that happens through the permission part. So you verify the disk permissions and then you repair these permissions. If you do that frequently, like I said, at least once a month, I'll say every 2 weeks, some does it every week, then you will keep your hard drive clean, you will keep it fast. Doing that, it helps with all the other points, making the Mac faster. That is for this time. I hope that all these sections now on what you can do to make your Mac run faster have helped you. I thank you for viewing my video, and I hope to see you again.